Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Sam and we are today talking to you about Tapforms 5 for iOS and Mac. Now today what I want to do is the start of a series of videos where I explore my original use case for Tapforms, and originally actually Bento. And that was to start tracking my purchases. So I would buy stuff online. This is over a decade ago now. It would take some time for it to arrive. I wanted to be able to track that, have tracking numbers, and I've since augmented it to scan stuff in so that when products arrive that I've ordered online, they show up. I can track them. If they get retagged, I can put that together. Now, we're going to start in this episode about looking at the very basis of this, and this ended up being my purchases document, and it has a form in it called purchases. And the purpose of this was that it should store the basic metadata and information so that I could go look it up later and do interesting things with it. Realistically, I'm sort of this archivist collector type, and it sort of piqued my interest to do this for my purchases. It helps me keep track of what I've bought, when it's arriving, shipping and tracking numbers, and stuff like that. So what we're going to do to get started here is we're going to add two things, which title and photo. Now, the reason I do this, and actually what we're going to do is swap title for photo, is that it means Tapforms uses your first photo field and can display this nice nifty little item. So what we're going to do is, the last time I did this, I actually used shoes as an example. I haven't bought shoes for a while, but let's go have a look at my Amazon link, and I'm going to drag over the last time I bought shoes. And now those shoes were in fact some Asics shoes, and you can see that I bought them a couple of years back. Let's drag this over. That's not the option I want. Okay. And what we'll do is we'll set this up side by side, and we'll walk through just a basic sort of thing that I'm doing. I sort of do. There we go. Now it fits. So we can see that I've actually purchased this 2 times. This is my favorite shoe. Last purchased January 2018, and I'm actually due to purchase shoes again, so I'm going to have to go figure out it. Currently unavailable, unfortunately. Now, we're going to cover this a little later in the series, but you'll notice that there's 2 options here that perhaps your Amazon page does not have. The first is import product to CouchDB, and what this does is uses Tampermonkey to import this page directly into CouchDB in a format that is compatible with Tapforms. And the way it does that is it uses the view this order to capture the order ID. And you can see it sort of in the bottom of the page there, to then build a unique record identifier, and that gets used by this open in Tapforms, which then transports me directly to that. We're going to cover that later, but to get started, what we need to do is build the basics of this. So we're going to use this one as a sort of an example. Now, one of the really cool things for Tapforms is that the photo field can store multiple items. So I used to use Bento. Bento required that you only had a single image per item. Now, you may have noticed that it's a little hard to get the image to drag it across. And normally you could drag an image across. Let's see, can we drag that? Yeah, we can drag and we can drop that. But you'll see here that when I try to sort of drag it, it doesn't seem to be really working for me. So one quick trick here is if you enable develop mode on your Safari, and that's under System Preferences, and then Advanced, you have Show Develop menu, and what you can do is there is disable JavaScript. Now, I've bound this using system preferences, the keyboard option, to Shift Command J. And what that allows me to do is disable JavaScript, so it pauses this image here, and we just drag that across. And then we swap back. And using this, we can pretty quickly import this. Now, this is actually kind of tedious, which is why we have a script that says import it. But we're going to do this to sort of demonstrate, you know, some of the stuff that I do to keep track of things. To be honest, this is a little pedantic, but this is kind of an interesting use case. Generally, I would only actually grab one, but I sort of wanted to demonstrate what having multiple looks like. And last but not least, we'll do that. And we've got our last shoe. And disable that. And we will copy the title while we're here. And we'll just put that in there. And hit enter. Okay, so now that we've done that, we have the basis of our record. We can see we've got our little image here on the left. We've got the title of the thing we bought, and that's about it. Now, if we click on this little 3 more thing, and actually let's just hit refresh here, and what that will do is resize the preview images here so that we can now get it, you know, embiggened, enlarged, if you will, and we've got all of the pictures of the shoe in its glory. Now, you may also realize that there are a few more pieces of the page, right? Like, one of the things that you might want to track is the URL. And we'll use a website field for that. And we will copy that across. You may also wish to take, you know, some of this body text as well. And we'll do that as well. So let's add a notes field for that. And we'll just copy and paste that. This is stored as rich text, so when we paste that in, we do get rich text. One caveat I will say with the notes field, whilst yes, it supports images, macOS kind of converts that into a really weird format for you, which generally means that your image field is going to be mega sized. So we can see at the moment this record is only 378 bytes. We save that, refresh that. You know, it's still pretty small. When we paste this in, we can see it gets a little bigger. Why has that not updated? Let's just click on new and jump back. There we go. Now we can see that it's 26 kilobytes. Right, still pretty small in the grand scheme of things, but it's grown significantly. Now, this record size doesn't keep track of the size of the image attachments that are added to the record. It's just the contents of the record, and the notes field in that case is inline. So let's scroll a little bit. Got shoe recommendations, shoe suggestions, and I think that's about it. If you like glue, you'll like these shoes. To be honest, I never actually had any issues with these shoes. Giving them a chance to break them in. I've worn these shoes for 2 years now, and time to get a new pair, so obviously I thought they were pretty decent. Now, we may wish to store price, ratings, and a few other things, because realistically that's some of the metadata. But one of the other things that I generally like to store, and we'll put a price field in, and that'll be number. Oops. Gotta select it first, price, and we'll scroll down and we'll make sure that this one is a currency field and currency style and currency US dollars. Why not? It doesn't really matter much in the grand scheme of things. That's formatting. Make sure that we specify the decimal places, and that is that for this field. So we'll do the price, and I actually don't know what I paid for this. It's been a few years, obviously. And one of the other metadata we might want to do is purchase date. And for that, actually, we can fill that in. And let's just bring our notes field down to the bottom here, so that all of these other fields are above the line. And we'll just do Jan 24, 2018. My preferred date format is sort of this longer day, month, year, because it's a really unambiguous format. As an Australian living in America, I can't tell you how confused I get from time to time with the dates being different ways, and having to mentally deal with month, day, month, year on different documents from time to time. So that's pretty confusing. The other thing that we may wish to add to this is a carrier field, and that's for our shipping, and then a shipping number. Now, I add these in particularly for stuff when I buy things off of eBay, which can take a while to show up. This allows me to go look the shipping number up, check the package that I received, and then be able to very quickly see what it is. Now, one of the things that then I iterated on is, well, we sort of need a state field, right? Because we want to be able to track, what the state of this is. So let's create a state field, and what we're going to do in it is we're going to create a list, create a new pick list. We'll call it state. Single value popover sounds like a winner. And what we're going to do is have a couple of states, which is purchased, shipped, received, lost in transit. Unsurprisingly, for some of the international stuff happens, and cancelled is another thing. So you buy a thing, I've inputted it, and then it turns out that the merchant doesn't actually have the thing, or there was an issue with it, and then the order becomes cancelled. So we have this cancelled state just for that, but we've got purchased the item is shipped, received, lost in transit. We'll hit done on that, and then hook that up here into our state field with the pick list. And so now we get each of these. Technically we can, because this is a single value popover, you can actually write in here whatever you want. So this becomes a really flexible field type. This is actually one of my favorites. I abuse this, to be honest, because it allows me to be specific, but it also allows me to control and have extra power in case I want to. Now, this is roughly what my personal one looks like right now, and there are a couple of extra fields that I have for like the color of the item and a few other details. But you can see here on the left, Tapforms has really helpfully given us an image preview of this item, and that's by having this image field up here. It's given us the title on the right here, and then the state as a secondary item on the second line there, and we will see that's our field list there. By default shipped with 2, so we're good to go. We could perhaps have a third one, which would include the URL. That's a bit wordy, to be honest. We could probably put in purchase date, but realistically what I actually want to sort by is this purchase date field. And what that then gives me is automatic section headings based on the date that I bought something. So if I bought something today, I'll just cheat and do today. When we refresh this list, we can see January 2018, December 2020. If we don't like the way that's ordered, let's just flip that around. And we can see, all of this details. We can easily jump between them. So when you get a number of items, you can jump by year. This is actually my preferred way of navigating because it allows me to look at things over time and look up when I bought particular things and imported them. Now, that's where I'm going to leave it for this video. because what we've done here, we've started the outline of our new form. In the next video, what we're going to do is look at implementing this import to CouchDB. Now we're going to use scripting for that. It's going to be a little bit more. We're going to have to make sure that this particular document is replicated over to CouchDB, and we will cover that in a video. We can see right now it's using iCloud, so we'll swap that over to CouchDB and have a look at what it looks like to be able to directly write into CouchDB. So thank you for watching. If this video was helpful for you, please leave a like. If there's a question you have, leave a comment over either here or over at the forums. Always happy to help folk with issues in Tapforms. And I will see you on the next video.